Hey YouTube world, I'm making a video today on if you should move out your parents' house. A lot of us feel that we are ready to move out our parents' house because we're sick of their rules, but I don't think a lot of us are ready for that commitment. So I made a few stuff that I saw. I kind of wish I didn't move out my parents' house, but I'm not gonna go back because I'm already out. Because there's a lot of stuff I learned since I moved out my parents' house in December to now. And it's a huge responsibility. I could just only imagine if you don't have roommates, how much responsibility is by yourself. And it's hard. So, my first checkpoint to make you think, if you're thinking about moving out your parents' house, make sure you actually think about these little checkpoints. Actually go into deep thinking. I didn't really think. In my current situation, I didn't like my home life. It wasn't the best environment for me. And the next environment I went to wasn't the best environment for me either. But I knew I didn't want to go back to my home. So I jumped because the current one I was in at that time was kind of bad and it was messing with me and it was fucking with me at work. So it was kind of a jumpy decision, a fast thing. I didn't really have time to think about it. And if I was to do it all over again, I probably wouldn't have jumped that quick. I would probably have waited at least 3 months or 4 months before I had made that decision. But it worked out along the way, but I have some rough patches. So it's not all glitter and gold, but it could have been worse. But I made it. Okay, the first thing is, do you have a stable job? And by stable job, I mean like, have you been there for more than, at least I would say, 5 months? If you made it past a job for more than 5 months, that's a stable job. Don't, not a month, not 2 months, 3 months. Make sure you know how your income is coming and how it's flowing, and you know, okay, it's like you know how much your check will be, you know how the system works. You don't want to, it's like, you don't want to buy something that you have to make payments on and you don't know how your paycheck works. So this week you're able to afford it, but next week you can't, or later down a month later you can't afford it, so now you have to return it and it looks really bad and make you feel bad. And I think a lot of people do that, especially during tax season. A lot of people do, they buy a new 2010 car, well, not 2010, 2015 car, they're balling, they can ball for that month, and then the month next month or 2 months later they can't ball no more and they have to return it, and it's so embarrassing. Or you see someone who, they look all fly and stuff during tax season. They got their hair done, brand new yaki. They got their Brazilian in, that Malaysia hair, eyelashes done, nails done, the baddest shoe, new Jordans, everything. They look so fly for that for the full first of January, February, but when March come, they can't keep it up. So don't, like my uncle told me, stay in your lane. Not what you need to do. You need to stay in your lane. So if your lane can't afford a $400 bill, a $400 like rent, don't try to force yourself to fit into that $400 rent because that's stressful. But if you can, go for it. If you can't afford a 300, or maybe you can find somewhere where you can share a room with someone like I did, and luckily me and her get along good, go for it. If you can afford 200, like if you're in a really, 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 really bad situation and you need to get out, try to share a room with someone, find someone you can share a room with, so it's not that stressful, and you can work your way out of it and then move on and goes to something better. But make sure you have a stable job before you make these big jumps. Because when you make these big jumps, you don't do those little baby steps and really think about it, you really screw yourself over sometime in the end. The next checklist is, do you have transportation? Do you have reliable transportation? Where I came from a small town where I could walk places, but if I needed to go somewhere outside where I live, I had a very hard time. So most of my job, I was able to walk to, but I couldn't get a really good job or anything because it was outside of where I lived. I live in the city now. It's You would think it would be easier to get a job, but my situation, what I've been in since this year, I got jobs, but since I don't drive, I lost them. So it kind of sucks. Make sure before you move out, you have your license and you have a car. Even if you don't have a license, a car, make sure you have your license so you can save up and get a car. But before you move out, make sure you have transportation. Because my situation, I have lost a personal assistant job and working at a gym, and it was the best job ever working at the gym too. I loved it. It was an area where you're working with children. I'm good with that. And they had to resign me because the bus schedule, you never, ever, 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 ever want something else to determine your faith. So don't ever put yourself in that situation. Because when you lose a job because of transportation, and then you lose another job because of transportation, and then keep losing job because of transportation, it sucks because you have to go find a new job, and that job probably paid well. Like the personal assistant job, I was there for like an hour, and every task I did, I got paid. I got $50 in 1 hour. Can you imagine if I actually stayed for a week, how much I would have got? So make sure you have reliable transportation. And by reliable transportation, I don't mean your cousin picking up your mama picking you up. No, actually have transportation. Because when you have to depend on someone or the bus system or a taxi, you're putting your faith and jeopardizing your job because of that. And you never want that. If you lose the job, you lost it because of you, not because of transportation or your mama being late and stuff or your cousin. Don't ever put yourself through that. The next thing on the checklist, can you tell a difference from a want and a need? When you're on your own, you have to pay expenses and bills. And a lot of people don't think about that. So there's many times where you may want the new Jordan that come out. Like today I went to the store. Kmart was having a sale, like their clearance because they were closing on the store. And I saw this beautiful Nicki Minaj dress. It was so beautiful. It was cheetah print perfect. And it was on sale for $13 or $26. I don't really remember. No, but it was between those two, but it was still perfect and beautiful. And I saw this beautiful blazer. It would have been badass with that dress and that blazer. The blazer was on sale for $11. I'm gonna be personally honest with y'all. My paycheck was only $90 for this. It was only $90, and that $90 have to last me till this Friday coming up. Coming Friday coming up. I could have bought that dress. Yeah, I could have bought the blazer. Yeah, boy, I would look pretty in that blazer. I'm telling you, in the dress, I would look beautiful. But guess what? I already spent on my acne cream, which was 6. I already spent on vitamins, and that was 8. And I bought something else. That's where my personal needs went, because I need the vitamins, and I have to buy my allergy medicine. I really need to go buy that. So if I had bought that dress, yeah, it would look beautiful in it, but do I really, really, really need that Nicki Minaj dress? Do I really need that blazer right now? What is that blazer going to do for me right now? Or next week? Is it going to help me get a new job? Is it going to help me like find the love of my life? It's not a need. It's a want. Even though it killed me putting it down, I did it. That way you have to learn before you move out on your own. Because when you move out on your own, it's gonna be harder because you're used to being a boss. You are not a boss. Your parents, or you don't have expenses. So it's easy to be a boss when you're living at home. Because I used to be a boss when I was living at home. Eyelash done, nails done, toe done, any clothes I want, I could have got it. Now, no, because I got food expense. What am I gonna eat? If I bought that dress, what was I gonna eat? My allergy medicine running low. Bought that dress. What I'm gonna be in the dress. Eyes running, mascara all fucked up. Laundry detergent, stuff like that. Little knickknack, bus fare, little stuff like that. You never know what may go wrong. So you need to have extra money in your bank account. You can't depend on, you can't live from check to check. Living from check to check is, you're going to be working for the rest of your life. So you need to save a little something from your paycheck so you can balance it out. So you need to learn a want from a need. You don't need everything you walk by. You don't need the new Jordan. You want the new Jordan. You don't need that Yaki in your hair that costs or that Brazilian that costs $99 and you don't even have a job. Someone else is paying for it and you're sitting there being picky. Oh, I don't want if it's not Brazilian, I don't want it in my hair. You're lucky you're even getting your hair done. There's people out here who work, and I know from personal experience after I moved out, I had to cut some of that lifestyle out. I wasn't able to get my nails done until March of this year. The last time I got my nails done before March this year was in May. I was unemployed from last May till last November, but I was working at Amazon, and that's another story for another day. But because it's another story for another. I'm not even go into that. But it wasn't enough. It's not enough. So learn the difference between a want and a need before you move out. Learn it. Start adapting, and even if you can afford it, don't. And here's another thing: live like you don't have the money you have in your bank account. Your bank account may say 100. Live like you're only surviving off $50. If it's 200, split it in half and live like you're living on 150. You don't have to spend that whole $200. You may feel like it. I know I used to feel like it. Oh, I have to spend this whole paycheck. I have to. Because there's going to come, like, I've been in a situation where I had some money, a lot extra money, and I said, I'm going to get my hair cut. Ding, ring a ding ding. After I got my hair cut, my phone got stolen. And the money what I used to go got my hair cut and it did this and it did that, I wasn't able to afford my phone to get a new phone. It was only $58. And I said, my God, the money that I used to go do stupidity, I could have put my phone on and got a new phone. And I had to be without a phone for 3 days because of that. So spend your money wisely. The next thing is, are you responsible? Before you move out of your parents' house or grandparents' house or wherever you're staying right now, are you responsible? Okay, when a lot of people move out, they only think about the glamour side. They don't think about bills. They don't think about, you have to be fine, like, you got to be like a little finance man. Like, a little finance man. Like, you have to, okay, you need to know when all your bills are due before you move out. Like, when you move in with someone. You need to be on top of your game. You can never be, like, under your game. You need to be on top. Like, you need to know when electricity is due, when water is due, when rent is due, when this is due. And you need to stay above. Because once you slip, and you gotta make sure you have a rent book. That's the main thing. Never go into a house and live in a house, like renting a house, and you don't have your rent book. Because there may become a time where, oh, you didn't pay this, you didn't pay that. And you can bring out that receipt and say, boom, I paid it. But if you don't have a rent book or a copy of it, you're screwed. Be responsible. Think like a businessman. You have to be on top of your game. You can't let stuff sit and slide like, okay, I'm gonna let, that's not my thing. I don't, even if you move out and your parents are paying for your expense, make sure at least you know how much your electricity bill costs you, this, and stay on top of your game. Don't don't just go blind. Oh, I'm not paying for it, so I'm not gonna, I don't care how much it costs. I'm not paying for it. Because when your roommate or whoever you live with come with you and say, oh, this was that, you didn't pay this, you didn't pay that, you're going to be like, I gotta go call my mom. You're like 20 something years old and living on your own. No one called. Mommy days and daddy days is over. Grandma days over. This is your day. So you gotta be responsible. Are you responsible enough? Because now you're the one who's signing these leases. You're the one who's signing these contracts, not your parents. So that's your job to know. Am I responsible enough to do this? Can I actually pay for this? Because the phone operator or the bill collector is not going to be calling your parents when you can't pay for this or that, or when you go to the hospital, because they ain't got time for that. That's in your name. So you're messing up your credit in your name. So be smart and be wise. My next one is, do you know the true meaning of money? That is a very, before you move out, do you actually know the true meaning of money? Not everybody know what $100 is. Yeah, I know what a $20 is. But when you live on your own, a $20 is more than a $20. What can you do with that 20? Most When you live at home, you can think of all the personal use you can use for that 20. Oh, I can go get my nails done. I can go get a wreath. I can like refill in my nails with that 20. That's 17 bucks. I can go on a shopping spree with 100. Woo woo. When you live on your own, it's, oh shit, I can actually go buy groceries with this 20. And instead of eating out all the time, eating out takes your money. It do. $8. If you spend $8 for lunch, $10 for dinner, dude, that's almost 20 bucks. You know, you could pay some for some grocery. Enough grocery could have lasted in your house for almost like a week or so. You have to know the value of your money, because if you spend it stupidly, your money will be gone in like what, 2 days, your paycheck. You have to cut some habits out. Like, I used to use certain body washes. Now there is no shame in my game. My body wash costs $97 and it's Ivory. I used to use Caress and stuff and Dove. It's Ivory because Ivory is way cheaper. And that's the sacrifice I have to make. So you have to know your value of your money. Like, when you look at $100, think about it. What's the first thing that pop in your head when you see that 100? What you're gonna spend it on? If you say a brand new Jordan or on some Yaki, and your paycheck is under 200, you found $100 right. No, think about it. If you found $100 on the street right now, the first thing, what would pop in your head? Think about it for a few minutes. If you said a materialistic item, you should not. Don't even think about moving out. You're not ready to move out. You're not thinking like an adult. You're thinking like someone who's still getting taken care of by their parents. And you shouldn't move out because you do not know the value of a dollar. And my last one. Are you an adult? Just because you turn 18, you are not an adult. Just because you got your period, you're not a woman. Just because you got little balls, you got balls hanging down now, you got a little hair on your private area, you're not a man, and your voice got that bass to it. You're not a man. You are now responsible for you. That means that if you do something stupid, you can go to jail now. Your parents and the police don't have to knock on your parents' door. You live on your own. If you get pregnant, your parents are not obligated to. Your home doesn't exist. Don't even think about going home. You moved out, you got pregnant, so you go find a way to take care of you and this child. That is your responsibility. Because once you move out, you are no longer your parents' responsibility. So don't put these responsibility that you created on your parents. Because now you are an adult. You decided to move on. My cousin gave me the greatest advice. Tell me, once you move out your parents' house, you are and all those bills come in, you can't go back home. That's not an option. You gotta live like your parents are dead. That's how you have to live. Because if you live like your parents, if you get comfortable, like if you can't, you're not gonna want to do anything because you know you can lean, and that's gonna screw you over because you're gonna not try to do anything. Like if you know you could work an extra shift at work and your parents are paying for your car bill, why do you want to work the extra shift when you don't have to? But if you say, hey, I'm gonna live like my parents are already gone, you work the extra shift, you could pay for that car note. You could, instead of trying to live off of your parents and you're working, why don't you try to do something once in a while? Like, hey, guys, you don't have to pay for it this month. I got it. And be responsible. That's your responsibility, not theirs. And that really bugs me when people, when people parents do decide to help them, and they take advantage of it. They don't ever again want to pay for that note. They make their parents pay for every single month till their parents say, I don't want to pay for it. You are an adult. Start acting like one. You are not a child anymore. Even if you go to school and you have a job, try to be an adult and pay for them. It's the best feeling when you can pay for something by yourself without relying on your parents, when you can make moves by yourself without relying on someone else. It's the best feeling. Once you feel it, you will love it, trust me. If you answered no to a lot of these questions I asked, you are not ready to move out. If you answer at least 5, you're ready, but being an adult is hard and living on your own is hard. So don't rush it. You don't have to move out right away. Take your time. Walk around the market. Save up some money before. Now I tell my friends, save up some money before you just move out. It doesn't hurt. I mean, it sucks, but at least when you move out, you know where, you know, your money's coming from, where your rent is coming from. So like, oh my God, I lost my job. That was my situation. 2 weeks after I moved, oh my God, I lost my job. How am I gonna pay my rent? Oh my God. It's frustrating. It's depressing. I could tell you what I did in December. I watched Saturday Night Live and stuff. That's the only thing that kept me alive from not committing suicide when I lost my job. So, and I was only working at Amazon for a month. And then I got at this Japanese restaurant and I lost that. And it's horrible. Don't make decisions like that. Think about it. Find out your job schedule. Find out how it works, how everything flows. Don't make quick decisions. You don't have to move out right away. And if you do, because your situation is really bad, try to find something you can't afford and you know you can't afford. That's my life lesson of the day. Bye.